When we were kicking cushions over there.
Possibly.
If the room had to become a Batman villain, would they, and this is not about which is the best villain, but which would they rather become? Would they rather become Kiteman, who's pretty great with a hang glider, a real villain, or the Penny Plunderer, who commits penny-themed crimes? Another real villain.
I would go with the
pretty
Penny
lame.
Plunderer beach because we're in Canada and we no longer have pennies.
So
you'd be out of work?
So you would have no crime.
Kiteman!
See, what you would do is you would just get all the pennies and you would sell them for the copper.
Yeah.
Kiteman? Like, there was that gag in The Simpsons where they go to the air show and the nerd kid comes out and he's like, but before we see the jet planes, did somebody say box kites? And you hear Bart yell, no. The box kite was originally developed as a way of drying damp string.
I would probably have to go for the Penny Plunderer just because my dad's first major criminal endeavor was to get pennies in England in the 60s and melt them down in France.
Ooh.
Because it was against the law to deface the Queen's image.
Right.
And so he would get barges full of pennies and sail them over to France over the channel and then melt them down there for their metal value.
Hang on.
Bust the police.
Hang on.
Uh-huh.
How much valuable metal was in an English penny?
Well, they were really big, right?
Oh,
So it was 3 to 4 times, I think, the value per weight of copper or bronze. I'm not sure what.
Whatever the actual
Yeah.
Barge?
Like a big barge, like
Pennies.
pennies.
Where is one get a
Just-
barge full of pennies?
Well, no, he would get
I know.
he would get pennies and he'd fill a barge full of them.
How many pennies is a barge worth?
You know, I don't know. I didn't get a chance to really ask him before he passed away. And I don't think this made him a lot of money.
How many pennies is a barge worth? Ask Johnny's dad.
Ask Johnny's dad.
Ask Johnny's dad.
2 snorts.
Yeah, so that was one of his big criminal endeavors. Yeah.
Fine. So you want to follow in your dad's footsteps? You
Well,
want to drag
maybe
us along the ride.
I actually just my mom just told me very recently. My dad's been passed away for a while. My mom just told me recently. She's like, yeah, when your dad came to England a couple of years afterwards, his mom came to visit and said, you know, it's probably okay for you to come home now. All that stuff is blown over. and it turned out. It turned out one of my dad's friends was murdered, and the police wanted to talk to him, and so he fled the country and came to Canada.
Fine. I'm marking this complete.
In the United States, the Secret Service protects American currency. So, is there something analogous in the UK where it's not investigated by the police? It's investigated by the dudes from Palestine.
Yeah. It's like the beef eaters are running down to.
So I asked this in the most respectful way. Are you sure your father's not still with us?
Yeah. But he had. He had done a bunch of crimes. I'm pretty sure he did not murder a man. But when the police wanted to find out what he knew about this guy that he knew to murder, he knew that he was going to get pinched for various other crimes. So he fled. He fled over to Canada, and there he stayed. He did eventually go back and didn't get arrested, so I'm sure it did eventually blow over.
That's nice.
That's buck wild. That's some Superman, or was it Superman 2 where they were scraping fractions of a penny from transactions? Office Space.
Office Space.
I could just see this where you're
God.
okay, it's perfect. We'll just take a bunch of pennies and move them over to France where it's nice and legal to melt them down. Then we'll sell the copper, and then we'll come back and we'll use the cash from the copper to buy
whatever.
Don't forget,
I
it's
don't know.
barges of pennies.
I've probably told lots of weird stories. My dad worked for the RAF before he went into his penny melting business. But when he worked for the RAF, his job was to drop dummy bombs atomic bombs in the Middle East. So he was coming up with a system of flying planes across regions, and they would use the momentum of the plane to launch a dummy atomic bomb into another country, so they didn't cross into the airspace because they wanted to see how easy it was to get the bombs over there.
So they were just like, woo, airspace.
Woo!
There it goes.
Oh, there.